If you've ever sat at your desk and looked at your manager's forehead like it was the root of all your stress, and you thought, I can't do this for another 30 years, you are not alone. Hi, I'm Ogo Obina, and in this video, we will be breaking down exactly why so many brilliant African women in 95s in the diaspora feel stuck, even when they've got ambition pouring out their ears. I'll walk you through the simple mindset shift and steps that helped me and dozens of other women start digital businesses while working full-time. No tech skills, no brand, no hype. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why you're stuck, you'll know how to move forward. So let me take you back a bit. I had a good job, the kind of job our mommies brag about when they bump into each other. But one day, after a team meeting that could have easily been an email, I sat there, endless spreadsheets open, inbox overflowing, and I just froze. I froze not because I didn't know what to do, but because I realized this can't be it. There should be more to life than this. The painful part of that meeting was my manager was so excited because the CEO dropped a thumbs up emoji when we announced that we had upgraded our trust portal. It made me question if I wanted to be him in my 50s, and the answer was a big no. I had a decent salary, the coolest benefits ever, and a respectable title, but I was miserable. I was so miserable to the point that I started breaking down physically and mentally. And the worst part, I didn't know who to talk to, because no one wants to hear that the thing we were told to chase might be draining us. If you feel like I felt, you're not ungrateful, okay? So banish that thought. So why do we stay stuck? A couple of reasons come to mind. Let's name a few out loud, shall we? Number one, and this is, I would say, the most popular one for me, cultural programming. We were raised to survive. Get good grades, get a good job, lay low. Do not embarrass the family. But start a business? In many households, that sounds like you want to suffer. And they always have a ready example of one distant uncle or auntie who has tried their hands at business but failed woefully. But they fail to mention those who have succeeded at it. Sounds to me like selective recall. We were trained to choose comfort in the form of steady checks, piled on workload with little to no pay increase, instead of taking some risk and getting even bigger rewards for our efforts. Now, no risk, no reward. And that's just life, right? I genuinely hope that a lot of us can somehow find it in ourselves to switch that programming, to change that mindset so that we can actually grow, so that we're not bound by a culture that no longer serves us. I'm on that journey, and I hope that you join me so that we can go on this journey together. Number two, fear of wasting your degree. Okay, so you've spent 5 years in school, plus debt, all the sacrifices. Now, some of you will be wondering why I said 5 years. For me, I studied law, and so back home it's 5 years in the university, and then law school, and then youth service, and then you start to work. And after all of this, you want to become an influencer, because that's what people hear when you say you want to start a business that will require you to be online all the time. So the guilt is very loud. Look, you are allowed to pivot, okay? People are quick to forget that one never truly dissociates themselves from their education or training. And so it always bleeds into whatever career one chooses to pivot to. It literally makes up who you currently are and will form your actions, decisions, and everything. To my mind, changing careers brings a fresh perspective into your new career. And these days, even employers prefer more rounded candidates who have taken it upon themselves to be involved in diverse roles, especially for very senior roles. And they always choose these kinds of people over those who have had a linear path. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to stay on one path, but you kind of get the advantage these people who have, been so many things get. And then we wonder why we don't get jobs these days. That's because they're looking for, this is a hypothetical example, they're looking for a project manager who has experience in AI and experience in cybersecurity and experience in God knows what these days. So I encourage you to pursue whatever business you want to pursue or whatever career you want to pursue, even if it's outside what you're used to. Trust me, the new career that you choose or business that you start will be the better for it. Number 3, perfection paralysis. You feel like you need the full brand, perfect logo, over 10K followers and 8 mood boards before you even post. But the truth, done is better than perfect. Clarity comes from taking action and not from thinking. When you're actively focused on solving a problem, that's all you think about. That's all you focus on. And then you're more likely to find solutions faster. And yes, you likely fail forward, but to my mind, that is better, way better than someone who's had the grandest ideas, but just gives it one thought and shelves it for later. Don't be a procrastinator. It doesn't suit anyone. Sometimes I often joke that we have more business ideas than our birthdays. Check your notes app, full of $1 million ideas you never told anyone about. You don't need another idea. You need action. But life keeps happening. The rent is real, the kids are crying, the boss is micromanaging, and life is lifing as always. So we delay our dreams and whisper, maybe next year, maybe when we retire. Look, let's stop that cycle today, because the longer you wait, the louder your doubts get. And the world needs what's inside you. And I know that some people might argue that the later you start a business in life, the more the doubt quietens. That is a lie. And then they also argue that you're able to stack up the necessary skills before you start your own thing. But that's also not true. Because imagine if you've been a prompt engineer all your life, and all of a sudden you need to start a business. In a business, at first, not everyone is able to build out the whole team from the get-go, because where are the funds? So in running your own business, you are the accountant, the tax person, you are your strategist, your product manager, you're probably your content creator. And if you're your content creator, that means you are scripting, you're shooting, you're editing yourself. And there's a bunch of so many other things that you wouldn't learn on your day job. And so you learn by doing. And I'm digressing, but I often argue that when you do some of these things for yourself, when it's time to hire, you are able to differentiate what is good skills and bad skills, or pretty much what you want and what you don't want. You get the gist. Yeah, back on topic. So the world needs what's inside you. So there are a couple of myths that keep us stuck. Okay, let's crush some of those. Number 1, you need money to start. Yeah, I agree that you need some money, but most digital businesses require under $100 to launch. Now, some of the best selling products were made with Canva and Google Docs. Yeah, even some multi-billion-dollar companies, they started with a simple document. I've seen penniless, ambitious young people put together impressive slide decks that they've used to raise millions of dollars. They use them to pitch. Don't let money stop you from starting what you need to start. Sometimes, depending on the client and depending on the situation, I often advise clients to start smaller and work their way towards that bigger dream that they have. To my mind, it's better than not starting at all. Number 2, you need to quit your job first. With this one, I beg to differ. Your 9-to-5 is your very first investor, maybe your only investor for the longest time. So you don't need to leap. You can build quietly, smartly, and strategically. For most of us, we need our 9-to-5 to survive somehow while building our dream life. So don't be hasty in jumping ship just yet. That might shatter you completely, and I'm speaking from experience. Don't do it. don't do it until it's the right time. And the right time is when what you're building is able to sustain you, or you find some alternative means of funding yourself, but you need money to survive. Don't jump before time. Next, you need to be techie. Now, this one is an absolute lie. If you can send a voice note, copy and paste, congratulations, you have what it takes. The beautiful thing these days is most tools are no code, and we're able to do most things ourselves and save the money we would have shelled out to some experts to do stuff for us. Don't sleep on this opportunity. And I know that a lot of us have time constraints. In addition to the whole techno-tech thing, I usually advise my clients to get a virtual assistant that is able to at least, for instance, build your landing page, help you with social media management, some form of content creation, or whatever administrative skill that you're struggling with, so that you can focus on the strategic and revenue generating things. Okay? Next, burnout plus brain fog. Now, I know you're exhausted from just surviving. The idea of launching a business feels like climbing a mountain in hills. But here's the truth. You're not lazy, and you've got this. And you are definitely not behind. Whenever you wake up is your morning. You've just been running someone else's race, and it has drained you. The truth is, starting out on one's own is not a walk in the park. But if you stay the course long enough, you'll reap the benefits. When I feel tired of this whole entrepreneurship journey, I think about the lives I've impacted, the awesome things I'm yet to accomplish, and the possibility that I can build something so good that someone else will want to buy. Yes, I started this whole business with the mind that I could sell it in the future. I should talk about that in some other video in the future, but it's really, really good to start with that mindset. That said, nothing is impossible if you set your mind to it. Now, let's get into how to actually move away from this myth. I need you to start simple, start scrappy, start scared, make your mistakes, fail, but fail forward. You'll be fine. So step 1, identify what you know. Ask yourself, what have people asked me for help with? What problems have I solved in my own life? I believe it's best to start with what you're familiar with, because you're sharing a lived experience. You are able to be a better teacher, better coach, better consultant, and an expert. Now, I noticed a lot of us African women are quite knowledgeable, but for several reasons, prefer to hide in the shadows. If you've come this far in the video, this is your wake-up call to share your genius with the world. Don't sleep on what God has put inside you, okay? Number 2, pick a micro problem to solve. Don't build a full course, okay? Solve one small problem first. For example, help someone create a budget, help them set up their social media, or show them how to prep meals as a working, busy mom. Teach them how to use Canva for beginners. Audit a process, system, or their people. I'm where I am today in my journey because several people have been gracious enough to put out content online, solving various small but prickly problems on the internet. Some of them behind the paywalls, most of them for free. I simply search for how to solve a specific problem I have, and oftentimes within minutes, this is solved, and we move. Okay? Put your genius out there. Step 3, package it simply. Use Canva, Google Docs, Notion, whatever tool you already know how to use. Start with a checklist, guide, worksheet, or simply an ad showing what it is that you do. In some cases, it might be putting out a survey to see if someone might be interested in your product or service. It could also be giving out samples. I will be breaking this down. Various forms of testing ideas work depending on the type of business. Put out your idea whatever way you think is best. Step 4, I need you to share your product softly. Post it on TikTok. Email 5 friends. Use your WhatsApp status. You don't need over 100K followers. You just need one person to say yes. You don't have to figure this out alone. I created a free guide to help you start with no tech stress, no fancy tools, and no fluff. If you are serious about building your own thing on your own terms, grab the Lean Launch Guide in the description. I'll link it somewhere there. It walks you through the steps I used in my journey. No pressure. It's there if you're ready to finally act on that feeling to start your business. Sis, it's time. No more sitting on your brilliance. No more fear drafting your note apps. No more hoping someone gives you permission. This is your permission from one African woman to another. You were born not just to pay bills and make jollof rice on the weekends. You were born to build. So here's what to do next. Hit like if this spoke to your soul. Drop a comment. What's your idea that won't leave you alone? Grab the Lean Launch Guide in the description and watch the next video. It covers the fears and failures of starting over as a Black woman in North America. In that video, we will be going deeper into the emotional side of how shame, perfectionism, and fear keeps us small, and how to finally break that cycle. Sis, you've got this. I'm rooting for you always, and I'll see you in the next video.